Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Buonasera and welcome to the 10th leg of our North American Championship here at Apex Online Racing, and tonight, coming to you from the Temple of Speed, it's Monza. But before we get down to business, before we head into the action tonight, let's remind ourselves of how things looked after last week. Lucas Yarn holds on to the championship lead, but after their teammate took the checkered flag ahead of them, the gap to Flavio is now down to just 5 points. Fizzymon extended their lead over Igor after a couple of risky overtakes gave them their first podium of the season, but Igor is only 7 points behind after what ended up being an unfortunate strategy called stay out on the mediums behind the safety car. Then the gap to Lars widens to 12 as they crossed the line in 7th last week. And speaking of 6th, Jackie Jack took home 2 points after a monumental 5 pit stops, putting them 10 clear of Giovanni Santos, who saw 6th place slip away from them in the closing stages of the race as they crashed on the final turn. Chasing them down is Steph, who retired from last week's race after multiple incidents, including a collision with Carlo, which is still under investigation in the steward's office. Tzazik is just 2 points behind them on 30, and they are 6 points clear of Shentar, but gaining on them after an 8th place finish at Zandvoort is Sabbath, now on 20. Ramon took 10th over Firefox to give them a point in the fight for 18th overall. Let's see what that's done to our constructors standings. And we can see that leading the pack monumentally, Aston Martin, who have not failed to double podium yet this season. 18 podiums total out of 18. And they are way out in front on 377. I've just had news from our racing coordinator that if they outscore the Alpines by 21 or more points tonight, they win the Constructors title. So we could be crowning someone by the end of tonight's stream. Speaking of Alpine, they are the best of the rest at the moment at 133. Fizzymon and Jack finishing mid to high table every race. 21 points separate them from McLaren, with Igor's boom or bust record and Shentar's consistent finishes. A larger gap back to the Haas of Lars and Firefox with 83 points to their name. Then, somewhere out there, Benny is waving a flag for Team Reserves, who are in 5th on 56. Piana and Axel making up the majority of their points haul. And moving back to the red or white Bulls, whichever you prefer, who haven't budged an inch in the last 2 races, consistently on 43 points ever since we had our season break. That's how the standings are at the moment. We are going to be heading to Monza this week, and it's not called the Temple of Speed for nothing, with top speeds of up to 345 kilometers per hour. Only 11 corners make up this 5.7 kilometer track, with the best overtaking chances at the heavy braking zone of turn 1. Although you're going to need something to help you keep the car on track at good speed around Lesmos. So there's going to be... I will be honest, tonight is not about what tyres our drivers are using, but when they decide to use them. In terms of strategy. People will be stripping off as much downforce as possible to get as much speed down that home straight and through that DRS zone as possible, whilst trying to keep it on the track through Lesmos and Parabolica. And it looks like our drivers are lining up and almost ready to go. I'm just making sure. That looks good to me. So yes, we could be seeing a Constructors Champion crowned tonight. We'll wait and see. This is our 10th of 16 races. As our drivers are getting ready. Don't know. Let's have a look at the lobby, shall we? We've got Mr. Joshua in the Mercedes tonight. And we've got Goat Tudor in the Alpine for Jack. So tonight really is the night that Aston Martin could do it. And it's been a bit of a rocky season. I'm going to give you a heads up. We are aware of some of the issues we've been having across the season. They haven't completely disappeared as of yet. We had some difficulties during EU, which resulted in disconnections from a couple of drivers. So please be aware that tonight we are still dealing with issues. We are doing the best we can with what we have. It seems like the worst of it is out the way. But it may well be the case that things sometimes don't seem like they appear. Something that did fall out of the steward's office, by the way, the 20-second post-race penalty applied by the game last week to Carlo has been removed. That has effectively altered the standings somewhat, putting Carlo back into 6th place and moving everyone else downwards. So unfortunately, Firefox didn't finish with a point in the end. And it looks like we're getting ready to go down to the track. It is just me in the commentary box tonight. Benny is off doing what they do best. Heads up as well, it is Halloween. There will be things that go bump in the night because I live in a busy area and people like to let fireworks off. So if you do hear banging in the background, that's probably what it is. So who else have we got? We've got Maicon in for Lars in the Haas as well. It looks like we're heading down to the track fairly soon. And we're on for a clear qualifying. As we get things ready to go. Okay. So it looks like we've got a Red Bull coming out. Also, one of the Alpha Tauris making their way out of the pit as well. And let's have a look. think... Ooh. A lot of people going out on track. Leading our drivers out of the pit lane is Ramon, who is out in front. So we're going to be on board with them to start with. As our drivers try and put in the best time they can in 18 minutes. We're looking around the 120 mark. 119, 120 is the expected pole time tonight. And almost all of our drivers are out on track. As we head on board with Ramon for our first tour of the track. So it is hard on the throttle through the home straight up to 8th DRS open before reaching that 100-meter board just ahead of us here. Braking heavily into turn 1 down to 2nd, keeping left to widen up the apexes of Retafio as much as you possibly can, carrying as much speed into the start of Curva Grande, turn 3 right here. Full throttle through this gentle right-hander, taking as much of the inside line as possible as you approach Roger and just decide not to take it in Ramon's case. Just ignore the existence of the corner. Let's go back to Rafa. In fact, let's go with one of our lead drivers, shall we? We have both our Aston Martins in the pit. Let's go with Igor, who is setting quite the time here. Purple through sector 2. Obviously with no times on the board. That's a given. Yellow flags are all over the place while people slow down to try and get the best time possible. I don't entirely get that myself. Oh, it may have been jumping into the pits. Igor goes pole with a 120.9. I said we were going to see 120s tonight, and there it is. Blowing up to let the other cars through. Let's have a look at who we've got coming out. We've got Lucas Yarn on an out lap. We're going to be on board with them for this next section. And it appears we've had a couple of issues. Both Finale and Murphy's Law having problems. Murphy has been disqualified for stopping in a dangerous place. Let's take this next lap on board with Lucas Yarn, our championship leader, as Fizzy goes pole on the mediums. We're expecting a medium to soft or soft to medium strategy here tonight. So, from the top, down the home straight, through this DRS zone, back wing wide open, up to 8th, hitting top speeds of over 330 kilometers per hour, braking at the 100-meter board, hard right and left in second gear, carrying as much speed as possible into Curva Grande, trying to keep it on that inside line without clipping the curb, as Giovanni Santos goes for a 120.4. Roger down to 3rd, riding the left-hand curve to give you the best exit out of 5. Gentle on the brakes into Lesmo, trying to keep clear of the trough on the inside. Across the detection line and into 7. And into the first DRS zone here. A lot of battery will be spent down this straight throughout the race. Ascari next, braking early to get a good entry line into the rest of the section, and with the right line it's back on the throttle all the way to our 6th and final braking zone at Parabolica here, dabbing on the brakes and then coasting into the corner before putting the pedal to the floor and pulling that wing all the way open into the DRS zone and across the line in a 1:19.5. 1:19.5 is the pole time. That is the time to beat. And Lucas Yarn laying down the gauntlet here. Aston Martin knowing full well that they could be walking away with that Constructors tonight. All they have to do is score 21 more points than Fizzy. Let me just quickly check something on map here. There we go. That's the problem. Sorry, I'm just dealing with some technical difficulties on my end. Bear with me. So, Igor looking to beat that lap. They were out on the mediums for their first attempt. Going on the softs this time round. With 1.4 seconds the gap to pole at the moment, with just over 10 minutes left on the clock. They're going to be coming around and starting their hot lap. Now the mediums are about 0.8 of a second slower than the softs throughout a lap. And we're going to be following Igor throughout to see if they can improve. And a lot of it is all about this first turn and how you take it. And that looks good to me. Almost flawless line there through Retafio. Keeping it well on the track through Curva Grande, going purple through Sector 1, a 26.3. And spinning out in Sector 2, unfortunately. So that's gonna be... It was a good run. They were onto something. They just couldn't keep it on the track through there. I don't quite know what happened. Looks like they took Lesmo a little bit too fast, and it just spat them out. Tazik closing out in 5th as Sabbath goes P3 with a 1:20.47. Fizzy is on their outlap, making an attempt on the softs for the first time, looking to improve. Easing up to let Mr. Joshua through. So who have we got tonight? We've got Goat Tudor as the reserve in the Alpine. Lucas Yarn currently leading the pack. Giovanni Santos is one to watch. Especially with a time like that, 1:20.4. And going for another run at it. Now the question is Igor going to stay out? It looks like they have improved. By about 0.2 of a second. Coming into Ascari now. And a good line through there. This could be a very good time indeed as they head down to Parabolica. Oh, and into the pits. Okay. Easing off on that one by the look of it. Let's ride on board with Fizzymon, who has just posted their Sector 2. Their Sector 1, a 26.5. So they are ahead of their previous time, looking to improve. Purple through Sector 2 as well. As it looks like Rafa has taken 5th. Flavio, P2, 119.8. So the people to watch tonight are going to be the 2 Aston Martins and Fizzy, and they improved by a full second, 119.9, putting them firmly in 3rd position by half a second. Who else have we got out there? Firefox is on their hot lap right now as Lucas Yarn improves further to a 119.5. Firefox is going to be setting a better time for themselves by the look of it, as they shave 9/10 off their time. Moving them up to P13. Who else is on for a blinder? Goat Tudor in the Alpine is making their way around the track. They've made improvements through Sector 1 and 2, and in fact ahead of them Steph Farrell is making improvements as well, 3/10 ahead of their current time, looking to overtake, looking to equal with Igor here potentially if they can keep this pace up as they come down the home straight and across the line in a 120.7. P6 with just over 4.5 minutes left to go in this session. Now bear in mind that the last of our drivers are going to be thinking through their last stints now. They're going to want to be going out at about a minute 30, a minute 40 on the clock. Something like that. Anything after that, they're not going to make it across the line in time to perform a hot lap. Let's see if Giovanni can improve as they make their way across the line in a 119.8. Improved, but not in position. As Steph puts another... Fizzy puts another set of softs on. Giovanni taking the Vettel route through the corner there. We have Bulldog, who is looking to improve. They are a 10th up through Sector 1. DRS open. About 2 laps of fuel in the car. Wilhelm has bowed out. As Bulldog improves again through Sector 2, a 27.2 through there. Pretty wide angle through Parabolica, but it sees them improve by 4.5 and up to P12. Giovanni Santos is likely making their way into the pits. We've got a lot of people on outlaps. Igor it looks like is having some difficulty bettering their previous time. Shentar, however, 7/10 up. Moves into P8. Tim McLaren's going to be side by side on the grid at this rate. Who else have we got out there? Ramon is just starting there. their hot lap. Managing to keep it on the track. Just, it looks like there was a little bit of swerve there through Retafio. Improves by a 10th. Very wide line through that corner. That's going to cost them some time as they make their way into the straight. It seems that they are slightly wobbling even in the straights as the lap goes invalid. I will be honest, I didn't see more than 2 wheels off the track there, but that's just me. But let's take a look at Igor, who has their 9/10 up on their time through Sector 2. A purple Sector 1. This could be the time to beat right here. All they've got to tackle is Parabolica as they come around and into the final straight, and it's a 1:19.6, third on the grid for Igor. And I think that's it for Igor. We have very little time left on the clock. So who have we got out there? Lucas Yarn is about to cross the line. They reaffirm their pole. Then Giovanni Santos is on an outlap. They're not going to be able to do much, I'm afraid. Goku has invalidated their lap. So Ramon is our next available driver, who's making their way through Sector 3 right now. Round Parabolica. A little bit wide, trying to avoid the white ball on the outside line. And across the line in a 1:20.9 P12 minimum finish. Goat Shooter. Nope, sorry, that is Goat Shooter's purple through Sector 2. As the last of our drivers finishes up. It looks like our final driver's cross the line is going to be Goat Shooter here. Igor retiring in third. Goat Shooter, a 120 dead. Or 119.999. Flavio is pulling into the pits. Only Lucas Yarn left out on track, and I think this is just a victory lap for them at this point. 2.5 tenths clear of their teammate. An absolutely astounding qualifying. And that's qualifying over and done with. So your grid as it stands, Lucas Yarn and Flavio, the two Aston Martins, out in front. Then Igor in third. Giovanni Santos in fourth. Fizzy in fifth. And they are the target this week for the Aston Martins. We need to keep an eye on them, because the Aston Martins are more than 21 points clear of Fizzy. That is the Constructors 1. So final standings: Goat Tudor, so the Alpines taking the third row. Then we've got Maicon, the reserve, in the Haas in 7th. Shentar P8, Sabbath P9, Steph Farrell, who is looking to get back on the points wagon, in 10th. Then we've got Rafa in 11th. Ramon P12. And Tazik in 13th. Bulldog, P14. And towards the back of the grid here, Mr. Joshua, Firefox, Lundqvist, Wilhelm, Finale not able to set a time, and Murphy being disqualified from the session. So, as we get ready to go into the race proper here, it looks like we're carrying on with things as they are. So let's take a look at how things are looking in terms of the weather. Just getting some updates from the weather center and from our race director as well. Okay. As they are ready to go racing. Everything has gone horribly, horribly wrong with my system. Bear with me. Yep, it's not pushing anything. Not receiving anything at all. Okay, we're going to be flying blind. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this. So let's see what we're starting off on. All our front runners on the softs. Rafa, all of our back runners, most of them starting on the mediums, except Tazik, Wilhelm, and Finale. All opting for the softs. All trying to keep those tyres warm. Rafa with strategic pole, as some may call it. I don't know what has happened here. I'm gonna have to check my settings. Bear with. Oh. Okay, they're on the grid. There we go. Looks like 5 lights and a bunch of jump starts, including some drive-through penalties. So this first corner is where it's going to be. Apologies, I completely forgot that I was on the wrong screen. Flavio takes the lead. Giovanni Santos making a gain there. Maybe told to give the position back. I saw a few people taking an interesting line through Retafio. Giovanni on the tail of the 2 Aston Martins. Then it's Fizzy in 4th with Goat Tudor right behind them. As we see yellow flags, it looks like it's Bulldog. Bulldog now all the way back down to P10. And it looks like Firefox may have had to wave them through. Up front, Flavio leading the pack. And it is absolute chaos towards the back. Oh! And there's been a crash! Rafa and Goku, Shentar, have retired, and there's a VSC. Virtual safety car. And Lundqvist has had a severe collision with Finale. What is going on? Lundqvist pulling into the pits. Finale doing the same. I assume the collision was on pit entry as a bunch of people come in. Flavio still out in front. Lucas Yarn now more than a second behind. Our drivers now at 60% of their racing speed. And the track has been cleared. But within less than a minute, we've lost 2 of our drivers. And Finale gets another drive-through penalty. For speeding under the safety car. Bulldog opting for the hards, just trying to push it the whole way at this point. Trying to recover what they can. And I don't blame them really, because that was quite a ridiculous first lap for them. DRS is now live as we come into our third lap here at Monza, and it's going to be quite a quick race as Maicon goes up the inside of Sabbath into Retafio, taking the inside line, and it sticks. Elsewhere on the field, Giovanni is right on the tail end of one of the Aston Martins. And is closing that gap, and they're gonna have DRS this time round. As is Lucas. And they've got Goat Tudor right behind them to worry about. Lucas is gaining some time. We've seen is that Wilhelm having some issues? No, it looks like Wilhelm is fine. However, Goat Tudor, fastest Sector 1 so far. So he's definitely got the pace to keep up with our front runners today. Goat Tudor posts the fastest lap, a 1:22.6. And Flavio, Jan makes the pass on Flavio, and Giovanni looks for the opening, and it isn't there. Elsewhere on the grid, Wilhelm's getting a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I assume that's for not taking the chicane properly. As Igor overtakes Steph. Steph is gaining on them though with that difficult exit through Retafio. And the battle up front is tight between our 4 front runners. We've got Lucas Yarn out in front. 4/10 behind them is Flavio. And it's Giovanni, and Goat Tudor is making ground, and in fact is making the pass here down the home straight. Back wing wide open, inside line, as that looks like Finale coming out the pit lane, and they managed to make it into turn 1, but Giovanni makes the switch back into 2. Keeping the inside line for the Curva Grande. And it looks like that's paid off. It's paid off for now as they are pushed on the inside by Giovanni. Difficult to tell what happened there, but they definitely went outside of the track bounds, probably because of how tight that squeeze was from Giovanni there. And the battle for pole is well and truly underway. Still only 4/10 between them. As we head further back in the pack to P8, where Tzazik is catching up on Ramon. And it looks like a lot of people took an opportunity for a pit stop here. Possibly looking to last the whole race. Tzazik now with the DRS and the inside line for turn 1. Makes the pass in the straight like a breeze through turn 1 and 2. And manages to make it stick. At least for now, but Ramon seems to have the speed out of the corners and manages to pull level with them through Lesmo, and looks like there is a yellow flag. What have we here? I think it's the Alfa Romeo. I think it's Finale. No. No, it's Wilhelm. Potentially? Looks like Wilhelm was causing some... there were some issues on track there. Let's go to Steph and Igor, who are chasing each other down here. The battle is tight. Tighter still is the battle for P3 between Goat and Giovanni, as Fizzymon moves up to 9th now. Looks like Mr. Joshua is coming into the pits for a change here. And a lot of gaps forming as Giovanni Santos starts to make ground. That is a purple sector 1 for Goat Tudor. Sorry, purple sector 2, I should say. 27.7 through there. 3/10 faster than Flavio directly ahead of them. And 4/10 faster than Giovanni behind. But Giovanni's got that DRS in the home straight and is making gains as Goat Tudor spins out. Giovanni and Maicon taking the positions. And Goat puts it in a wall. I don't know if out of frustration or they burnt their tyres up, but Goat is out. 17 drivers left in it here at Monza. And the closest battle is between our 2 Aston Martins. Flavio wanting to take that lead, wanting to take the lead in the championship, because that's the thing, there is only 5 points separating them, so whoever finishes ahead out of these two will be ahead in the Drivers' Championship as well. As it looks like Flavio is getting work done here, as Lucas Jan goes for the block, and it doesn't stick. In fact, Flavio is now half a second back, as Sabbath, that looks like Maicon had a little bit of trouble going through Retafio there, which has allowed Sabbath through in P4. So as it stands right now, Aston Martin have got the Constructors Championship tied up. A lot of it is going to be pride between these two. Teammates and rivals all throughout the season, and that doesn't stop here. That looks like Lundqvist coming into the pits. With Igor getting themselves a time penalty for multiple warnings, which brings Ramon into the fray, if anything. Just hanging on to a points position right now, as they try and track down Steph. They've made one stop, though. This is the thing. We are getting to the point where people are going to be making stops on the softs. And our 7 frontrunners are yet to change their tyres. A pit stop here will cost you about 24 seconds on track. Although it's not a long pit lane, it's the fact that you don't get the speed into turn 1. You don't get that top speed, as we have a full course yellow and a safety car. What has happened? It looks like yep, that's Murphy. I think. Yeah, it looks like that's Murphy's Law crashing out and triggering the safety car there, unfortunately. 16 runners left, as Lucas Jan takes the opportunity to take a pit stop, as does Flavio, as does Maicon and Sabbath. And everybody who's yet to pit gets it under safety car. And they must be thinking that that crash by Murphy was a godsend. So things are going to be tightening up here as the safety car makes its rounds. Some of our drivers are, in fact, a lap or two down at this point. So as it stands, Lucas Jan out in front, Sabbath, Flavio in P2, Sabbath in third. Then we've got Maicon in the Haas, one of our reserve drivers tonight. Giovanni Santos in P5, Tazik in 6th, Fizimon in 7th, and that is the benchmark tonight for Aston Martin. If they get 21 more points than Fizzy, that is the Constructors title tied up. Safety car staying out for at least another lap here. Which is going to give time for the rest of our field to bunch up even more. Now, Firefox is on 9-lap-old mediums. So this could be an interesting call for them. They could. The mediums can stretch for at least 22 laps. Can they go further? In testing, it was difficult to say. It is a risk. As Ramon takes the pit stop. But Firefox with the oldest tyres on the field right now. And it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So just waiting for confirmation from the stewards that the safety car is coming in this lap. Looks like we might be having another lap under safety car. Is Firefox going to take the opportunity? Nope, they're staying out. They're staying out and hoping that those mediums can hold. I mean, we've had a few laps under VSC. We've had 2 or 3 laps under safety car. Maybe they can extend that far. But it is a risk. Mycon on the hards. I only just noticed that. So as it stands, our fastest driver on field at the moment is Fizzymon. With a lap of 122.5. In fact, it comes down to the 10th of a thousandth of a second between Fizzymon and Lucas's fastest lap. We may have to do some investigating after the fact here. Although I feel like definitely going to improve over the course of the race. We're on board with our front runner, Lucas Yarn. Safety car confirmed coming in this lap. And now it's all about keeping those tyres up to temperature. And getting as much speed off the line as possible. Also means we're not going to have DRS until lap 15. 16, sorry. 16. So, with coming up on the halfway point of the race, the field is bunched up once again as we are ready to go. Green flag running, and there we go. Lucas Yarn with the starting pistol out in front as they make their way down to Retafio. And Fizzymon making the pass on to Zeke and managing to hold it for now as they go into Curva Grande. Tazik not giving up that easily though, still within 4 tenths. Of our 6th place runner, Giovanni is hot on the heels of Mycon, who is on the harder compound. As Igor makes the pass on Steph and manages to make it stick as well. Up towards the front, Giovanni still chasing down Mycon. Lucas Jan seems to have got a good distance on Flavio there. And Sabbath looks like the cork in the bottle. Ramon getting a time penalty as Igor is making their way up the field. Up the inside of Firefox. No, Firefox makes the pass back. Manages to take it back from them. But runs wide at Parabolica. And this is going to see Igor get better speed down the main straight. And with their DRS open, it's an open and shut case almost. Oh, no, sorry. DRS isn't live. My mistake. But Igor now P8, but effective P10. Up towards the front, Giovanni Santos has now dropped that gap to less than 3/10. As we come into Lesmo. And that looks like Finale. Finale's had a bit of a spin. And is that an end plate gone? That's an end plate gone. They're already a lap down, and this is going to put them even further behind. Fizimon is making ground on Mycon on the harder compound. So here we go. DRS is live this time round. So coming out of Lesmo is going to be critical. But Fizimon's going for the pass on the inside line, coming into Retafio, and manages to make it stick, putting them in P5 at the moment. Mycon is out there. Finale has retired from the race, and we have a full course yellow. I couldn't tell you why. Was it the cars being bunched up on the track, or has something happened to Finale? Safety car is out. And there's been no DRS so far. It's about lap 10. It looks like Finale's crash is what caused the safety car here. Just going to get this loaded up while we're waiting. I think this is working now. So Sabbath, Fizzy and Mycon all opting to pit. I assume going for the softs here. Yes, indeed they are. Firefox still to come in. And there we can see 14 laps on those mediums. The best life of them has gone at this point. So Igor, although in P4, does have that 3-second penalty to their name. and is going to be severely hampered by that. They're going to need to open up those gaps as much as possible, as Bulldog has a collision with Ramon. Just checking to see if there is any damage at all. Looks like it might have been a bump into the rear wing. As Firefox speeds into the pit lane, getting a 5-second penalty for their trouble. Deciding, maybe I've done enough on these mediums, and takes their lumps for it. We've also got Steph in the pit lane as well, by the look of it. Deciding to go on the softs as well. So there we can see everybody from 9th down on... Well, we've got a block of people on fresh softs now. Steph on 2-lap-old softs. Looks like they've fitted old softs. From qualifying. Igor, 6-lap-old softs up front, so does have the tyre advantage here when we go racing again, but does also have that 3-second penalty to their name. This could turn the race on its head with what will be 9 laps to go if the safety car is to come in this lap. It looks like we've got another lap of the safety car. And I just realised that I am missing my track map. There we go. So we're going to be going around once again as Ramon pulls into the pits. Is it rear wing damage? No, they're just on old tyres and deciding to take advantage of the safety car being out for longer. Steph is doing the same for some reason. Not quite sure why. Changing for slightly newer softs. So now the question is, can Ramon catch up to the rest of the pack before the green flag waves? And on a track like this, it's certainly doable. Everybody at such a low speed on such a high speed circuit. There's almost no question about it. Even before we reach Sector 2, Ramon joins the back of the pack in P12. And the safety car is coming in this lap. We get ready to go. Green flag running once again. And it looks like Steph has also caught up to the rest of the pack here as well. As our drivers warm their tyres up and start attempting to make their way through Parabolica. Don't quite know what's going on with Sabbath and Fizzymon there. Looks like there was an inopportune change of places. And full pelt round Parabolica for Lucas Yarn as we go green once again in lap 20 here at Monza. And Flavio is closing that gap. Is really bearing down on them. And Ramon makes the pass on Firefox and makes it stick as well. Now, of course, at this point, we're not going to have DRS until lap 22. So this is all under their own steam as Wilhelm makes the pass on Steph Farrell. How? I mean, the pass was made on track, yes, but they were full lap down. I believe we're having some issues with our timing board right now. Steph should, in fact, be showing a lot further up from the data that I've got here. Sabbath going incredibly slowly through Parabolica there. And has managed to let Bulldog and Mycon through. Mycon making the pass on Bulldog. Sabbath coming around the outside. And up the front here is Mycon with Bulldog catching up behind. Towards the front, Giovanni is right on the tail end of those Aston Martins. And is bearing down on them. Right behind them is Igor in the McLaren. As Steph, as the timing board catches up and Steph takes their rightful position. By the look of it. It looks like Sabbath has made the pass through Ascari and has made it stick. Oh, and that's bruh. Giovanni Santos has gone. And DRS is live. And that puts Fizzy into 4th. We have a yellow flag around Parabolica. And Ramon speeds into the pit lane. And crashes by the look of it. So now just 13 drivers remain in this race with 5 laps to go. Yellow flag at the entry to the pit lane. The closest race is for P6 right now. Mycon is right on the tail of Tazik here. Really putting the pressure on. Really putting the pressure on as they come up to Ascari. With that DRS open as well. Mycon manages to make the pass into P5. And now Tazik has to worry about Mr. Joshua, their teammate right behind them. No tyre advantage here. Further back, Steph is bearing down on the Bulldog for an extra point. And Sabbath now looking to get around Mr. Joshua here as we see Steph move up to 9th, making the pass on the Bulldog. And they're side by side coming into... Oh. Apologies, my game has just crashed. I'm hoping I can get back in for you as soon as possible. as we reach the closing stages of the race. And I'm loading in. Really sorry for the technical difficulty here. I don't know why it crashed. It just did. And the safety car is out as we head back to track. It looks like Tazik has had an accident. Whilst I get things set back up here. Right, okay. Apologies for that. Firefox has come into the pits. Going back out again. They are in the points right now. So as it stands, Lucas Jan and Flavio are leading the pack. Igor is just behind them. And then it's Fizzymon in P4. Mycon right behind them in 5th. I've actually lost a lot of the data here. As Firefox takes a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here. Don't think that's going to do much. It's lap 25 under safety car as well, which means no DRS for the rest of this race. So as it stands, Lucas Jan will be taking 25. Flavio will be taking 19. And Fizzy will be taking 12. 25 plus 19 is 34? 44? 44. And Fizzy taking 12 would mean that that would be... That would be the Constructors Championship over and handed over to the Aston Martins. So you're going to have to bear with me because some of my lap data is now going to be inaccurate because the game crashed. But it looks like things are catching up with themselves. Safety car is coming in this lap, so we are going to have the final 2 laps of green flag running here. Full racing speed. And what a race it's been. 12 runners left in it. We're about to go green. The safety car is pulling in. Lucas Jan with the starting pistol. As Fizzy bumps into Mycon there. Don't quite know what happened. That will be something that will probably be raised in the steward's office afterwards. Mycon managing to make the pass on Sabbath. Fizzy holding on tight. And in fact, sorry, makes the pass on Igor. I don't quite know how I missed that, but I did. And is chasing down the Aston Martins for the podium. Let's have a look at... Let's attempt to have a look. At those penalties. Go. We can see here, Fizzy is right on the tail end of Flavio here. But without that DRS, can they make the pass as Radiance gets past Bulldog? And Wilhelm is a lap down. So as we head into the final lap of the race, Lucas Jan leads over Flavio. Fizzymon just 4/10 behind. If they make the pass here, it might, and this is I can't do the calculation in my head, but I think it just about keeps Alpine in it for another race for the Drivers' Championship. And there's just 4/10 between them as we go back to Maicon, who is right on the tail of Igor here. This is the last time round, and this is going to be the last time down this straight as we have a yellow flag, and it looks like it's Mr. Joshua out of the race. Fizzymon takes another 3-second time penalty. And Lundqvist is going to be scoring more points. As Igor and Maicon battle for 4th. But coming across the line, it's Lucas Jan and Flavio and Fizzymon. After penalties, Maicon takes 3rd, Sabbath takes 4th, Steph takes 5th. And because of the safety car, the penalties are huge at this point. So, there we go. Lucas Jan takes yet another race. Flavio, yet another podium. And widening that gap. And reserve driver Maicon finishing in 3rd. So here are the standings. You can see there, Lucas Jan takes their full complement of points, 25. Flavio with 19. Maicon taking home some points for Team Reserve there. Then we have Sabbath in 4th, in fact. Steph in 5th, which is a welcome return to form for them. We'll go over the full standings in a bit, but I feel like this is going to be needed. Considering the amount of safety cars and incidents we had today and the amount of penalties applied. But your Constructors Championship champions this season, Aston Martin. Aston Martin taking home the Constructors title there. What a race. It all came down to the final couple of laps there, and those time penalties were costly because of it. So, whilst we quickly get things set up for interviews here, I'm just quickly going to take this opportunity to thank you all for bearing with us with the technical difficulties today. So, where are we? Lucas Jan took pole. Flavio took 2nd. It was not Lars who took third. That was a new driver. We'll sort out later. Apologies, I'm just getting the rest of this sorted. I believe that was Lundqvist. And this was well, while we're waiting, whilst I'm waiting for these results to compile, let's get some of our drivers in here to see what on earth happened out there. Let's have some post-race interviews. So, we've got our choice of 4 drivers. I think, first of all, I'm going to have to bring in Fizzymon here. Just what I'm lost for words, Fizzy. That was quite a roller coaster ride from start to finish there, don't you think?
There was no contact on his screen, so I don't know what that 5-second was from. It was probably just a little bit of desync or whatever, rubber banding. So that would have gotten removed no matter what. But just disappointed that I did the stupid cut and knew I had the podium in the bag, and it just is what it is, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of pressure going into today's race, as you were the only one who could realistically keep Aston Martin from taking home the Constructors. Do you think that pressure kind of weighed on you a little in the final stages of the race?
No, I knew that I was going to lose that to him, especially at the end there. I mean, well, not even at the end. I mean, I knew I had pace to keep with them easily. So, like, if I didn't run into Igor turn 1 when everyone went deep, I think I keep with that group, maybe challenge them. But they had really good medium pace at the end of the race, and I knew that the Constructors battle I'm worried about is holding second, because they're just, those guys are just unreal. They're just insanely fast, so hats off to them. I'm just disappointed that I wasn't able to, challenge them at the end there. I had the tire advantage. Actually, it seemed like Flavio was probably running the same wings as me, so I wasn't really gaining on him as much as I wanted to. But I had the advantage, and I choked it, and it could have been P2, could have been a win, could have been not a podium, or should have been a podium, but it is what it is. I'll get the 5 seconds removed, and it should put me back to P5. But just disappointed, because I felt like it could have gone better. But, fifth, I mean, I can't argue with 5th place considering where it was at the end of lap 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a bummer because I made quick work of when on that one restart on like lap 20, 21 something. When we finally got going for that restart, I made quick work of some guys and was really coming up. And yeah, so just unfortunate. That's all. But 5th place, I mean, it's better than it could have been. Or yeah, it's better than it could have been. I mean, a lot of guys did not make it to the end and really struggled. So I'm not too disappointed with it, but at the same time, it's a could have been race.
Yeah, talk us through what happened in the last few laps there, because unfortunately on our end, my game completely hard crashed, and when I come back, there's a safety car.
So on the restart with like 7 to go, I was down and I was one of the guys on the soft. So I got around Sully onto the safety car because we were just warming our tires up, and then all of a sudden he said he got hit on a screen with an illegal overtake on me, even though I never passed him. He never let me through, but it just get through, and I was slowing up to let him go, and he said, no, just go. And I was going to go on the grass to let him back through because it's only fair, but they started going on the front, so I said, I'm just going to go. And he said, that's fine, because he knew I would get him. And then I was able to run down Bulldog and Firefox, I think, initially. I got Bulldog on the exit of the Delarosia chicane into Lesmos 1. I just got a way better exit. Oh, it's Joshua. I got Joshua on the run down to Ascari. Or no, I got him out of it because he spun. And I was literally just, bobbing and weaving through everyone. I wasn't having much issues. And then that next safety car came out. And I'm thinking, yeah, let's go. This is going to be awesome. I got a better restart than Igor. I was kind of doing what he did to me at Zandvoort. And I was putting a lot of pressure on him before we started. I wasn't past him on the restart, but I was kind of letting him know that, hey, I'm there when I try to jump you. So I did that, pulled it off. But Flavio and Jan had absolutely amazing pace on the mediums. I mean, hats off to them. I mean, there's a reason they're 1-2 every week. I was, as much as I pushed, as much as I was sliding, they just had it. They had it in the bag. So congrats to them, and on to next week, I guess.
Yeah, congratulations to Aston Martin for what is now the Constructors Championship. We've got a break week next week, I believe.
Yes, we do actually.
So what are your plans over the next 2 weeks? Like, what are you gonna try and get some more drive time in? Are you gonna try and work on your strategy? What's the big idea here?
So I'm also doing the ACC endurance race here with AOR, and we just raced that key lime yesterday. So I only practiced Monza today. We got 2 weeks to Coda. I'll probably take a few days off, but then last time around when we were at Coda, I was actually battling Jan and Flavio the whole way through. I mean, different game, of course. Probably will practice that a bit. Maybe decide to learn Portimao. Haven't driven it yet, but I don't intend to drive it until race week. But I'll probably relax. The new Battlefield comes out in 2 weeks, so I'll probably play that as well. So maybe I'll practice Coda so that I can play Battlefield when it releases. But yeah, just probably practice Coda, relax, and I also have to. So the next endurance race for that league is Bathurst. So I'm probably, if when it comes to driving, I'll probably do that first.
Right.
I'll do that in Mexico. Watch that. So
you've got a lot of races under your belt over the next few weeks. I mean, it's an unfortunate way to end it, but if that penalty gets removed, then it will be 5th place and 10 points.
Yeah, I think it's 10. Yeah, so I mean, not bad. It helps me because I would beat Igor still. I mean, again, if he reports the turn 1 incident, which he has every right to, in my opinion, I think I would get a penalty, so it would just drop me down. But it's as of right now as it would stand, he would drop to 7th, so I get a few more points on him. Lars wasn't able to make it because he had to work, unfortunately, so I get a few more points on him. And yeah, my goal's got to be P3 in the drivers and then P2 in the constructors, so it would help with that. But yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. Monza is just always a crazy race.
Yes, as we saw in turn 1, honestly, I was wincing every time everybody was going into turn 1 there. having seen what happens at that turn in real life, it was squeaky bum time here in the commentary booth. But thank you for coming to speak to us, Fizzy, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Fizzymon, everybody, you're currently 9th place finisher, pending changes. So we've got a few people to get through. So let's speed through these, shall we? Up next, we have let's bring in Sabbath. Sabbath, how are you doing? From where I'm sitting, that looked like a pretty damn good race for you.
I'm gassed. I'm very gassed right now. Yeah, I have no idea how I got here, but I'm not complaining, and I'm gonna take this with 100% for sure. I'm gonna take this.
And I mean, how much would you say was due to the safety cars? How many safety cars did we have? It was like 3 or 4 at this point, right?
Yeah, we had. I think it was 2 full safety cars and a VSC as well. May have been 3 full safety cars. But yeah, definitely. I think if I had to say, last two safety cars really did help me out. Actually, no, the last one helped me. The second one almost messed me up because what had happened was I was kind of hoping following that first safety car where I boxed her the mediums because that one helped me. Um, I did get on the medium tires because of that, and I was gonna be like, okay, well, I'm P3 now. Now I just got to defend, right? Um, Second safety car messed everything up because I think I was running P4 at that point. My car may have got around if I remember correctly, and I was just trying to maintain the gap to the cars behind because I was pulling away. Oh no, I was ahead of my con. It was Igor ahead of me. Um, so I was just trying to maintain the gap, and then the safety car happened. So when I boxed the soft tires, which at that stage I thought it was going to be the end of my race because I was down at the very back at the top 10. Um, After that, it was literally just a matter of getting around as many cars as I possibly could. That last safety car kicked in. That definitely helped by grouping everybody up again. Fizzy got a penalty. Igor got a penalty. Giovanni crashed out. So I basically just capitalized on that and ended up best of the rest.
Well, as it stands, those 12 points move you up to P10 in the overall driver standings with 32 points, so putting you level with our reserve driver, Piana. We've got a couple of weeks off coming up. Have you got any big plans for that?
At the moment, I don't have any big plans. No. I'm just gonna take the time off that I need to recuperate and get ready for the next race. It's gonna be a lot of our home races, so we definitely don't want to, disappoint anybody who might be watching.
Well, you say home races. We've got 6 left on the calendar. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Um, I think in this order. I think it was USA, Portimao, China, um, Imola, something else, and then Brazil. Um, if I have to say the ones that I'm most looking forward to are definitely China. That's a track it is that I just love driving for some reason. A lot of people hate it. I love it. Portimao definitely would follow that one. I've driven that one in career mode. I love that track as well in Brazil because Brazil is always a chaotic race, always something happening. It's just a lot of fun.
um, I, I mean, we are coming towards the tail end of the season now. With 6 races to go, what's your aim here? Where do you ideally see yourself at the end of the season?
My goal right now is just to hold on to the percentage that I have in the championship. I feel like I could probably get top 8, but if I don't, I mean top 10 is definitely amazing. This is I think my second or third season in a top split, and to be competing at the level is that I am right now, let alone to have finished P4 today and P10 in the championship amongst the drivers that is who are as competitive as they are. That's self flattery in and of itself. I'm very impressed with myself.
I mean, to come home with P4 tonight is certainly an impressive feat. And any final words before we go on season break?
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Well, we'll see you when we hit the USA in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for coming, Sabbath, and see you soon.
Thank you. See you.
Sabbath, everybody, our 4th place finisher tonight. So 3 more to get through. Up next, we're gonna bring in Firefox, and see what is going on there. Hey, Firefox. Hello. That was certainly a race.
Yeah.
P8 in the
description.
end. P8 in the end, which brings home 4 points for the Haas team. Which, considering what happened last week, just missing out on a points position. How you feeling right now?
I don't think happy describes it. I mean, I'm kind of a bit disappointed because I could have done better, but I'm also really happy because this is my first points in, I don't know, since Baku. So I'm pretty stoked.
Well, it does move you up to it keeps you level at 15th, but manages to keep Bulldog at bay on countback. We've got 6 races left in the season. where do you see yourself finishing up?
Good question. 12th.
12th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aiming for kind of Tazik, Shentar, that kind of area. Okay.
Yes.
So quite a few safety cars out there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at your pit strategy here. 1 lap on the mediums, 16 laps on the mediums, 6 on the softs, and 4 on the softs was. I'm assuming the safety car changed a few things.
Yes, it did.
I say safety
Very
car
much so.
singular. Like there was only one
singular safety car that lasted the whole race.
And to be fair, you qualified P16, you finished P8. That is certainly a huge surge up the leaderboard, up the standings. And in fact, looking at the standings, even finishing this race was an achievement. So what happened out there to prompt that very early pit?
I broke my front wing in the first turn, then went off the track and was last.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. First turn, first lap was ridiculous. So I think everybody broke their front wing at some point. So I had to go in, change my tires, kind of steadily go along there at the back for a little bit. And then every single safety car, I jumped at least 2 people until I made my 2 pit stops. And then I think the last safety car, I wasn't even planning on stopping until I realized I could probably get away with stopping again, putting on a fresh set of softs and just bolting the last couple laps, but that didn't work out because I got a penalty. So,
well, I mean, it did result in you coming home with points for the Haas team.
yes.
And considering your teammate Lars wasn't here this week, it certainly helped bolster you in the Constructors Championship.
Yes.
We've got 6 races left. USA, Portugal, Japan, China, Imola, and Brazil. Which one are you most looking forward to?
USA and Imola.
Okay, so looking forward to come back to Italy. Okay.
Yes, I love Italy. Also the US because that's my home race. Let's go.
I feel like it's the home race for a lot of people around. Here.
I mean, to be fair, when I'm not in college and I'm at home, I live like an hour and a half from the track, so it's quite literally a home race for me.
That is very home race. We're about to go on a 2-week break. Kind of any big plans going into that?
Hone skills and try and get better at the US so I can actually compete and not spin.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave you to that. Have a good couple of weeks, and we'll see you in Austin, Texas in 2 weeks' time.
Let's go. Thanks, man.
No problem. See you.
Have a good day. Yep.
Firefox, everybody, our 8th place finisher, and waving the flag for Haas there. Let's get talking of pit strategies here. Let's get Steph in. Steph, 5th at the end of the race.
Indeed.
And with 5 pit stops, I've got to say, I wasn't entirely expecting it myself.
So I'm gonna go ahead and first of all thank Shentar that stuck around after being taken out and gave us some tips. And the second is big brain plays, because what happened was so I was on mediums at one point. I think it was after.
It would have been.
I pitted for softs again after I broke my wing in like the first lap.
Yeah.
And then I went on mediums on the first safety car.
Yeah, so lap 10, first safety car, yeah.
What happened was I pitted for softs and I got a 5-second penalty. And so I was already near last of the runners, so I decided to pit again to clear the 5-second.
Right.
But then I realized that the game put me on really worn softs, the ones I was using first. So I took it easy, and luckily the field went around one more time, so I pitted again. Got fresh softs.
So what you're saying is the game gave you the bad tires, and you were like, "No, I don't want him. I'm coming back in."
No, don't want him. I'm coming back in. Yeah, no, I did exactly
I don't
that.
care that it's going to cost me 24 seconds.
No, because we're under safety car.
We're under safety car. Yeah, actually, good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
So I just went like, you know what? Give me those soft tires.
How much do you think the safety cars came into play for you tonight?
Yes.
Good answer. Good
They
answer.
saved me, dude. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. The great thing is that at the end, so the last one comes out, and I'm like, 2 laps to the end, don't pit, stay out, right? And then everyone, after the safety car restart, everyone in front of me just starts dying. I think I saw like 2 cars spin and hit the wall.
Yeah, I was about to say there were. So looking at everything, it looks like there were only 10 finishers tonight. So everybody who crossed the line got a point. How chaotic was it out there in all of that?
I saw at least like 3 people get completely taken out or take themselves out, or 4, and 1 that spun in front of me and ended up behind me at the end of the race, right behind me. He got moved back because of penalty. He had 3 seconds. But the reason I finished 5th is because I was clean of penalties.
So it's a return to form for you after a couple of weeks outside the points.
Oh, yeah. I was not around in those 2 because I was trying to... I was heated, so I decided to stay out of it to not say something I would regret. I know myself. I get very infuriated with both myself and when things like that happen, but I got taken out 3 times in Spa and once in... No, twice? Once in Zandvoort, but with really terrible timing, essentially. So it was just bad luck and people behind me committing some pretty bad mistakes that unfortunately took me out. So it was a bit frustrating, but hey, I'm back, and I think made up for the lost points in the last 2 races because I finished 5th.
Yeah, 10 points, which brings you up to 7th overall in the championship, with 6 races to go. Now, we've got a little bit of a break. You got any big plans for our 2-week break coming up?
Well, I'm gonna take a look at what track we have next. I'm gonna probably start practicing probably after like the next weekend. So try to get better at it and see if I can keep myself in the points from now on and avoid trouble.
Well, speaking of avoiding trouble, there was certainly quite a lot of it out on track there tonight.
That's an understatement.
And there's still obviously some things still to be resolved from previous races as well in the steward's office. When all is said and done, when all 16 races are finished, where do you see yourself? What is your aim? Now that you're, sitting fairly firmly in 7th place, you're now 6 points ahead of Giovanni Santos, and only 4 behind Jackie Jack.
All right. Well, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the season, my aim is ideally a top 5. Because I know that there's ahead of me are some extremely fast drivers, which I do not quite have the pace of. So I'm trying to rely as best as I can on my consistency and my avoiding issues. Well, until they find me, that is. But yeah. But if I can keep that going and keep getting solid points, if I can finish somewhere close to P5, I would call that a successful season. Even where I am now is not too bad, especially considering the 2 incidents the last 2 races. But we'll see. There's a few races to make some work and try to improve the position before the end.
Well, thanks very much for coming in to talk to us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks when we head over to the USA, to Austin.
Also known as the track where you can't see half of the apexes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit of a nightmare track for you then.
It's going to be an interesting one because I remember trying it out without Racing Land for the first time and going, oh, I can't see the apexes. What's happening?
Well, thanks for coming along, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Congratulations.
Thanks, and have a good one.
Steph Farrell, everybody. P7 in the Drivers' Championship, and P5 tonight, taking home 10 points for AlphaTauri. So, I did have someone else, and then they left. So I think we're going to leave it there for now, and let's take a look at how tonight's results currently. Big asterisk next to it because we've still got some stewards' inquiries from a week ago, and also probably some from tonight as well. Let's see how they affect the standings. Apologies, that is the wrong one. So, Lucas Yarn, that is also the wrong one. Right? That's right. Sorry, bear with me a second. I have to fix these. Let's put the wrong one up. There we go. Oh. So, our driver standings. Lucas Yarn extends their lead after taking the checkered flag tonight, and their 5th win of the season. 216 points puts them at 11 points clear of their teammate Flavio, who takes their 3rd fastest lap of the season as well. Fizimon in 3rd on 97. Asterisk there, subject to change. Igor just a point behind them at the moment on 96. And then it's a considerable gap now back to Lars, who wasn't here tonight, on 76. Further back is Jackie Jack, who also didn't compete tonight, so has stayed on 46 points, which has allowed Steph to get within striking distance of them. Just 4 points behind at the moment on 42. Giovanni Santos drops a place after failing to finish tonight. That moves them down to 8th. Our reserve driver / winner, Piana, in P9, on countback from Sabbath, with that 1 win under their belt. Sabbath improving, as we heard earlier, getting 12 points, moving them all the way up to P10. Let's take a look at the bottom half of the board. So it's moved to Zeke, down to 11th, who also crashed out tonight, unfortunately. Then Shentar, who didn't even finish the first lap tonight, stays on 24. They both moved down a place. Then we have our reserve driver for Haas tonight, HCOM, with 15 points from their 3rd place finish. Axel, who we saw last week, in 14th on 14. 14th on 14. Then Firefox, who took home 4 points. That manages to keep them in 15th with 11. Bulldog surges up the field after taking home 6 points tonight after all is said and done. moving them up to 16th, and pushing Rafa, Murphy, Carlo all down a place. And people that I haven't talked about, Lundqvist, who was going to be our last person that we were going to interview, finishes in P10, taking yet another point to their name and increasing the haul for Williams. Speaking of Williams, let's take a look at the constructor standings. As I've been kind of alluding to all night, Aston Martin 421. They are almost, actually I can do the maths on this, they are 288 points clear of Alpine with 6 races to go, which makes it mathematically impossible for Alpine to catch up, which means Aston Martin are taking home the Constructors Trophy this season. Alpine on 133, only gaining 2 points from Fizzymon's finish, although again, asterisk subject to change. McLaren on 120 after Igor took home 8 points. Then we have Haas in 4th on 87. Quite the drop back there to AlphaTauri, who have overtaken Red Bull by 3 points after Steph takes 10 for the team. Red Bull failing to finish tonight. Alfa Romeo, Sabbath's 4th place finish moves them above Mercedes on countback. Then Ferrari, Bulldogs haul of 6 points puts them ahead of Williams, who are back at the bottom of the league. That's how things stand at the moment. When I come back and see you in 2 weeks' time, it may have changed. But we are off next week. We are having a break whilst the clocks go back over in the US. Don't forget that. But what a race tonight. 3, maybe 4 safety cars, if I counted correctly, and a couple of virtual safety cars in there for good measure. Only 10 drivers finishing. Actually more fatal than Monaco, and I never thought I'd say that about Monza. But that's it from us here at Apex Online Racing. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, where we'll be jetting over to Austin, Texas for the US Grand Prix and round 11. But until then, a presto and drive safe.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.